recording is important.
Yes. So welcome you guys to our monthly team call. I realized before this I actually didn't get Jenn's stats, but I know that she's pretty bomb. So I'll start with that stat. Superstar Diamond Coach in her first CBC, 2-star in your second. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. And like 7,000 months in Success Club.
Yes.
So she's a Million Club member. She's super cool. Jenn, I'm sorry, 4-time elite?
5.
5-time elite. Okay. I usually do this much more formally, but it's Jenn.
You're fine.
But anyway, Jenn and I have been masterminding a ton, going back and forth on this volume versus Success Club thing.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, like, we've been talking about it probably way more than she wants to talk to me, but because I'm her math person, she's stuck with me. So we have been, she has really come up with a system that has been working for her so that she can increase volume and increase her Success Club numbers. Jenn's always been super consistent with Success Club, but her numbers have like literally doubled by doing this. And on top of it, she's increasing her income, and it's not by selling challenge packs. So
Right.
She's going to tell us all about that. I'm really excited. And I'm probably going to leave this unlisted because I know that Jenn has said, like, we kind of want to keep this internal to Ficator, and in this case, Fitspiration, because Whitney and I work together, that, we get the insider info. So Jenn, I'm going to let you take it away. Sorry about my really crappy intro.
Oh my gosh, you're so fine. Thank you guys for having me. So yes, I have always been like a Success Club 10 person. I just was like, whatever, I'll hit Success Club 10, and that's just, I'm sure I understand. Siri, did you hear that?
Yes.
Oh my God, Siri. But I recently was like, look, Success Club, I see all these coaches leaving Beachbody, and what's like the main thing that they say when they leave? They're like, I hit Success Club 95,000 and I still was unsuccessful. And I'm like, how can that be? Like, let's really look at what that means. These coaches are, by all sense of the word, successful because that's what corporate tells us. And while I do, love corporate, at the end of the day, they're looking out for them, and we need to look out for us. So they have set up a system, which is Success Club, which pays us the least by giving us all these incentives to sell the thing that pays us the least amount of money in the big picture. And so I kind of looked at that and I said, Jillian and I have talked about this a million times, like, how important is that recognition? Like, how important is it to say, like, I'm a Success Club All-Star legend if you're making peanuts? Like, it's not as important. And so I was like, but let's not shoot myself in the foot. How can maybe we get the best of both worlds, and what would that look like? So what I've started doing is I've rolled out like a multi-phase program with my customers. And if you guys watch trainings that I've done in the past, I've always been really recruiting focused, bringing in new coaches. I've completely stopped doing that. I don't really feel like that's the best way to grow our businesses today. I think that our business needs to be really challenger focused because we don't have a lot to offer a coach at this point. Most coaches coming in are not going to be 6-figure earners. So I think we need to stop leading with like the girl boss and like life by design. Like, I don't think that's the way we need to go anymore. What we do have is a really superior product. And we have really superior products. We have an amazing Beachbody on Demand system. So why are we not leading with that? And then once we bring coaches in, they're coming in because they love BOD, or they love Shakeology, or they love Performance Line. And we're not forcing them to sell because they're just naturally doing it. So I don't sign up coaches anymore unless they have a Beachbody product. They've been through a challenge group. They basically have experience with what we do. And so what I do with my potentials, I do branded challenge groups. For a long time, I thought, let's brand ourselves, and what does that look like? We niche market training, like, who are we targeting? What is that? What does that mean? And I felt like there was like a lot of confusion from a coach perspective, especially like, who am I? Like, I don't know. Am I anyone special? Am I interesting? I'm not sure. And then there was a lot of confusion on how do I target this person that I'm trying to attract when I don't really even know who I am. And I felt like that became very difficult for new coaches coming in to figure that out. So I thought, what if we brand the challenge group? What if we make that really exciting and, you know, special, that they want to be part of this group that's different than what every other coach is doing? And what I see a lot, and if we take a step back and kind of look at the coach network and what are most people doing, there's a lot of the same thing. There's a lot of like To Be Mindset group, and they kind of talk about To Be Mindset. It's somewhere in the name, you know, and I did the same thing. So I'm not passing judgment on anyone. My To Be Mindset group is like To Be Nutrition Revolution or something like that. But we do a lot of like these challenge specific groups around the program we're running, and it sounds very Beachbody. So someone hearing this, like my T20 step group or whatever, they're like, okay, right. But what if you thought about this really exciting group that you were inviting them to, where you're offering all of the things that our programs deliver, but you're saying it in a way where they feel like you're catering this package to them. So I branded, mine is called Slay Girl Bootcamp, and my downline can all use it and they can rework it however they want. But I was like, let me just experiment with this. Instead of leading as I'm Jenn Richardson and I have these credentials and this, that, and the other thing that most people, it doesn't matter to them. They're not interested in who I am. They're trying to get fit, right? So I'm leading with Slay Girl Bootcamp, and I immediately, the name sparked a lot of hype. And I've done a million calls to actions over the years, and I couldn't believe how many people were interested in Slay Girl Bootcamp. And I kind of pitched it as it's like a one-stop shop for nutrition, for fitness, for supplements, for accountability, all of these things, and you can do it virtually. And I kind of talked about it as just this fitness group. And this might be repetitive if you guys heard my last call, but I went into like a lot of local studios and local gyms in Tampa to try to get a feel for how they pitch to me. And if you guys have the free time to pop into like an Orange Theory or a CrossFit gym or a bar studio, let them pitch to you how they're trying to sell you a package. And I like mentally took notes, got back in my car, opened my phone, was like furiously typing, because the way they pitch to me is how I want to pitch to my potential customer. Because essentially we are an Orange Theory or a Pure Bar. Like we're offering a product, and we want to offer various packages just like they're doing. So when my customers, my potentials would respond to my poll, or they would, shoot me a message, fill out, response to my call to action, the first thing I would say to them was, these are all the things my challenge group offers. What are you interested in? Because I know I know you might have your own fitness thing. Like I get a lot of runners. I've been getting a lot of runners lately. So a lot of them are like, I'm not really interested in Beachbody On Demand, but I am really interested in this performance line. Can you tell me about that? And then I'm like, yeah, definitely. I'm like, what meal plan are you using while you run? And they're like, oh, I'm not really doing anything right now. I'm like, well, can I show you some of our nutrition programs? And what I did, and I'm more than happy, Jillian has them to share them, but I created little info guides for To Be Mindset and for Ultimate Portion Fix. So they're going to be branded by you, that you can share. And I uploaded to Google Drive, so I'm able to just give 2 hyperlink little links when I'm having these conversations through private message. So I send them to them depending on what they're looking for. Some of them are like, oh, I'm not really sure, but I need to lose 25 pounds and like blah, blah, blah. Well, when someone tells me they want to lose weight, I immediately switch gears to Shakeology. I have had the hardest time selling Shakeology for years. Like when I first started, it was like the easiest sell, and then it became very difficult. And I realized it's the way we're branding it. It sounds cute to call it a superfood shake, but I am finding people do not care at all that you were calling it that. Like they don't see the value in spending $130 for dense nutrition. People will spend $130 if you tell them how it's going to help them lose weight. And it's science. If you replace a meal a day and you get them on a nutrition plan where they're eating correctly, and you're having them replace one of those meals a day with Shakeology, what's going to happen? They're going to lose weight. So I started pitching Shakeology as a weight loss shake for the people that told me they had 20 pounds or more to lose. And so those people would come in and they would get the Shakeology. I would get them, whether it be To Be Mindset, Ultimate Portion Fix, get them with a base kit, whatever. Or, I would set up with a little meal plan that I have. We all have meal plans we can send to go along with Shakeology. They would lose that 5 pounds or whatever in that first week. You just got a customer that is now, they trust you and they're hooked. They want to keep doing it. So I think you really have to look at the customer on what can you offer them. and what best fits them, not what best fits you. And you know how many coaches I have talked to, and again, no offense if you guys have led this way because it's the way we've been taught, but I have talked to so many coaches who are like, if someone tells them no to the challenge pack, they wash their hands and they're like done. They find no value in this potential customer anymore because they're not interested in the challenge pack. And not only is that not great from like a person perspective, but it's not smart business. So I have had so many customers come in where they're just like, I'm going to do to-be mindset. Is that okay if I just do that? I'm like, of course, that's totally fine. I'm going to get you in my challenge group. Or they come in, they're like, I just want to do, I want to do Beachbody on Demand like for the year. Like, is that okay? And I'm like, of course, that's totally fine. Let's start you there. What I do is I have a Google sheet. And this is my 3-phase, protocol I do with my customers now. And I also was one of those people that never tracked my customers. Once they bought a challenge pack, I put them in my challenge group and I would tell them, if you need me, message me. Otherwise, you probably are not going to hear from me. I just didn't put a lot of energy into my challengers. I was putting it all into my coaches, which I don't think, maybe that was great then, but I don't think that's the way to go now if we want to really be successful here. So I put them into a Google sheet under like phase 1, month 1, however you want to list it. And I put what they purchased. And in my head, I'm already thinking about how are we going to get something else into their life for month 2. So the sale doesn't end with the Beachbody on Demand, annual membership. I want to get them in my challenge group because I want them to see what Shakeology looks like. I want them to see what Performance Line looks like. I want to potentially talk to them in month 2 about getting on a nutrition plan. So month 1 might just be Beachbody on Demand. Still a great sale, and it still brings volume and you still get commission. So I just feel like we need to stop undercutting any sale being a good sale. We need to focus on the fact that this is step 1 for this person and it's driving volume and commission to you and to your team. And so I kind of feel them out throughout the month. And what I did with my challengers is I put them all into a pod. And I love that kind of interaction. I really thrive on it. If that's not for you, then figure out another way. Maybe you like doing one-on-ones. But I put them all in a pod, and it's not a check-in pod, which is a mistake I made in the past. Where you check in and you're like, how's everyone doing? Did everyone eat good today? And like kind of boring. Nobody really wants to engage in that pod because there's nothing really personal. I tried to make the pod fun and personal, learning husbands' names, kid names. What do they do for fun? What do they do on the weekend? I get kind of vulnerable with them. Like I was telling them how I was in Costa Rica and I was complete disaster with how much pizza I ate. And it just makes them trust you and it's fun. It ends up being less work for you and more joy, which is what we need to do. But I feel them out in the group. Where are they struggling? Like where are they having difficulty? And that's what I try to put them in for phase 2. So month 1 might have just been Beachbody on Demand. But month 2, I could get them on Shakeology, and then I just got 2 Success Club points, right? And so if you do this with enough people, $99 for BOD, to me, it's such an easy sell, and I feel like so many more people could be selling it if they weren't trying to sell the challenge pack. And I also believe, and I'm coming to find this to be true, a lot of people are very paycheck to paycheck. So while we say $160, that is like an awesome deal. Like, why would they not just buy the challenge pack? They don't have $160 budgeted for this month. They only have $100. So whether you think that $60 is such a great deal, that little bump up, they don't have it, but they will the next month. You know what I mean? And if you develop this relationship where you're working with them and you're genuinely trying to get them to the next step in their goals, that makes sense for month 2. Jillian and I went back and forth about like the quarterly membership. I think we were talking about that. Maybe it was Kylie. I don't pitch the quarterly because I don't want them to, in their head, think, oh, but in 3 months I still have to pay money. I want them to do the 99 in month 1 and not think next month I owe anything, so that when month 2 comes, they can look at it and be like, I'm good. Like there's nothing I owe here. Like I can move forward and budget and allocate for month 2. And I tell them that. I'm like, so I know you really wanted to do Ultimate Portion Fix. I get that. But let's just focus on BOD this month. That's where you feel comfortable. Let's work on that. And then I know that in month 2, if I really help them in month 1, they're going to buy it. Does that make sense, guys? Like you're really tailoring this like to where they need to go. And in the meantime, you're still getting commission. You're still getting volume. You're still getting Success Club points. And to Jillian's point, like I said, I've been a Success Club 10 person always. I'm hitting like Success Club 30 and 40 and not going for the challenge pack. Like these are just like continuously residual, bringing new people in, and in month 2 or month 3, maybe month 4, and I'm getting them into something that is associated with successful points. I don't know if anyone else leads with performance line. It has been my bread and butter, like legit, like crazy the past 3 months. And I went to GNC. Again, you guys kind of do your research of like the people you talk to. Where are the companies that they're bringing up? Are they talking about other MLMs with you? Mine don't really. They talk a lot about Target. They talk a lot about GNC. They talk a lot about like these brick and mortar stores where they can go in and they can buy pre-workout or they can buy protein. So I went into GNC and I kind of priced out a lot of their pre-workouts. A lot of their stuff has a lot of crap in it, like actual junk that you don't even want to be consuming. And at the bottom line though, the price points were very similar to like what we offer. And so you can lead with price points are similar because you have that knowledge in your arsenal that what price points look like of a somewhat comparable product. But when you go into GNC and you buy that pre-workout, what happens next? Like, what if it doesn't work? Or what if they're not motivated to even work out? They have it sitting in their kitchen. What if they don't take it? So you use that knowledge that you have about the other product and you're like, now you get a coach. And whether you are doing your running or whether you're doing CrossFit or whatever, like I'm here to motivate you to like take the pre-workout and go work out. So I kind of pitch it that way, but if you guys aren't working the performance line angle, do it. Something I have recently started doing was buying a box of packets, like the Energize packets, and they fly. Like I could sit on a box of Shakeology packets for months and not sell out the box. Energize packets, I can sell out in like 2 days. And they're cheaper. So I have been selling mine and I didn't even know what to price them at. I just kind of threw it out there. It was like $5 and that includes shipping, thinking, if nobody wants them, I can always lower it. And they were like, oh no, that sounds great. I'll do it. So if you guys aren't selling Energize packets, I totally recommend it because I don't know. I feel like with Shakeology, people need to kind of consistently take it to see any sort of difference. You feel energized in 15 minutes. You know it's working. So it's such an easy sell. And I can honestly tell you guys, every single packet that I've sold, maybe they didn't buy the performance stack, but they bought the Energize. And it's commission and it's volume. So it's all good.
Jen, you're selling them for $5 each, right? The Energize packs? Yeah. Crazy, right, you guys? One stick of Energize, $5.
Dude, my mind is blown right now.
But I will say that most people want a few. Most people want a few. And so I'll be like, okay, well, if you want 2, then I'll do it for $8. Okay. So if they want a few, but some people are like, I just want 1. And it costs me, I think it's $2.70 to ship 1. In a first class packet because I was shipping them in envelopes, and what the post office does is when they stamp it to make sure it's not drugs. I don't know what they do, but they were smashing the packet open, and then my customers were getting like a packet full of pink dust. So I have these like little tiny padded mailers, and I put the packet in there, but I have to buy first class shipping, to ship it that way. So $5 that covers your shipping and it's more than the packet. You're making money selling that 1 stick, but nobody said anything, so I just went with it. But if you have to lower the price, like I think what are they, like $1.25 each?
Yeah, barely. Maybe about over $1.
So even if
it's like $40 for 32 of them, right? So let me put on my math hat, my calculator.
Even with that mailer.
Yeah. Oh no, you're right. $1.25. Yeah. But
I think you actually told me that already, and I like remembered it because I didn't come up with that. But so I'm selling these Energized samples, and that's been really great. But I think the biggest thing was having like a branded boot camp, or you can call it whatever you want. Branding you and start branding the thing that you're inviting them to, and letting them tell you what they're interested in, and then you telling them what products you have. So like when I went to the Pure Barre studio, they gave me all of these different package options depending on what I was trying to target in my body, which I didn't even realize was a thing. But they have like more intense sessions or classes if you're trying to do like fat burning, and then they have other ones that are more focused on like muscle toning. And I was like, gosh, like that's what we do though. Like we should be talking to these people the way they're talking to me. It was just really eye-opening, which leads me to the second phase of this, which is bringing in like the local market. And I feel like, and let's keep this here, but I feel like while everyone else is over on Instagram, which was awesome, and I've taught it for like 4 years now, that's where everyone is. So if everyone's there, like we need to be somewhere else and we need to be ahead of the curve. And so while everyone's trying to do their hashtags and like niche market and all of this, like let's think of something else. And so I've been doing like all local market stuff. I've been trying to redo my social media that I'm very like local based. And I have a lot of coaches who are like, I'm in a small town. I came from a small town before I was in Tampa. And in some ways it's so much easier than a big city because you don't have a ton of competition. Like in my last city, there was like, our Space Coast Market Council was like, they were so small. There were just not a lot of people. But in a bigger city, you have like lots of events you can network at, you can go to. And I'm not even talking like having like your Beachbody shirt on and leading with that, but you're putting yourself out there to this local market where people are getting to know you and they're following you because you're sharing value in your city. So just for an example, that what I do in Tampa is I'm trying to go to like a lot of Tampa restaurants or Tampa bars or Tampa hotspots or events we have. And I'm geotagging, which is like where you put the location, hashtagging about it, using local hashtags. So then when these local people come to my page, they're like, oh, she's in Tampa. She's providing value. I want to follow her because I want to see how she liked that restaurant. Or I brought my kids to this new museum. Was that cool? You guys see what I'm saying? So now you're doing the same thing with like interests and target markets. Like for me, I'm trying to cater to like, young professional type people, but also moms of like small children. What are things that, work for that? And I'm bringing like a whole new crowd of people to my social media. And in so many ways, it's a lot easier because at the last couple coaches I've signed, they're like, can I meet up with you to get coffee to talk about, coaching or challenge group? And I'm like, sure. It's so much easier to like seal the deal when you're face to face with somebody than it is when you're like trying to message them on Facebook or Instagram, and you become like this real person to them. They know you're not going to ghost them because like now you've already taken the time to meet them in person. But for me, it's been a huge game changer. And I think for a lot of coaches who have been kind of spinning on social media and are just like, I'm doing the hashtag set list, I'm messaging the people, I don't want to be that person that sends 250 invites, which, oh my God, you guys, I was cringing at that national wake-up call, and I'm sorry if you liked it, but I was literally cringing because I don't want to be teaching anyone to have to send 250 cold messages. That's not duplicatable. It's not realistic. And if that was what I was taught, I would have quit before I started because I don't want to cold message 250 people. And I don't think that's the only way to be successful. But I will get off my soapbox and I won't go off on a tangent on that. But I just want you guys to know there's like other options, like cold messaging. If that doesn't make you feel comfortable, it's not the only way to do it. If you like cold messaging, feel free. It's just not what I want to do. And I feel like if you go in that path, and the more we train our network to do it, while there's all these other MLMs doing the same thing, what's going to happen? Like people are just going to really be very guarded, and they're not going to be very open to anything what we're doing because they're kind of spammed by all these people doing it that way. So the local market has been just like a very interesting game changer. Back to the boot camp though. So Slay Girl Boot Camp is a virtual boot camp, but I'm going to be making it a actual boot camp where I will go in person and we could do workouts together. We could do meal prep together. So for my local people, we'll do meetups where we're getting together, do workout, whatever. But once they're part of that boot camp, they now have access to me in person too if they're local, which I think is a huge thing for so many people. Because the reason why they tell you they can't do Beachbody on demand is because they need someone in person. And even if you're not working out with them every day, just the fact that they know that you could grab lunch or you could go to their house or you could meet up with them. Maybe you even like develop a friendship where you're like, hey, would you want to go to this music in the park thing? Like they do them all the time in Tampa. Or like local, artists, they'll play in the park or they do movies. Anyway, there's like so many things where you could meet up with these people in person. And I think it just creates a more trusting how the relationship has more longevity. So that was 30 minutes. I was trying to keep that to 30 minutes.
27 minutes. That was amazing. Whitney, you have questions, friend?
I just said she crushed it. I'm like really all in, soaking up the 27 minutes that just is.
So one thing, Jen, can you just talk about a little bit? I watched your 58-minute long call on Fit to Couture last night, and I actually downloaded it and reposted it to my team page because I'm fun and technical like that. But can you talk a little bit about, you were talking about like the BOD process and like what you do, just a little bit of the specifics of bringing people in with BOD month 1, month 2, month 3, and how you work that. And then once you do that, I want to kind of break down volume and commission for people so they understand the impact to their bottom line.
Okay, so it was kind of like where we were talking about how you look at the customer and you feel out what their goals are. So I had a girl the other day that came to me and she was like, I'm a disaster with eating. I can work out all the time, no problem, but I'm like a complete disaster with eating and I have like no motivation to eat correctly. I have, she just put a huge emphasis on like the nutrition. And she's like, and I don't really have a good fitness, regimen down either. So for her, I looked at, if I get her started with nutrition in month 1, she easily could fail and then be done, right? Like she might just give up because that's the hardest thing for her. So I was like, I just always feel like if you get someone to Beachbody on Demand, they really get to see what our culture is all about. So I was like, okay, let's get you started with Beachbody on Demand in month 1, and then let's look at month 2 to get you settled with nutrition. And that's where I want to say she ended up doing 2B Mindset is what she wanted to do. And then in month 3, she decided to do Shakeology. But still have that one person knowing her goals from the beginning. And I use the Google Sheet. So you're writing these things down about this person. What were their goals? What did they want? What are they hoping to achieve? What are the things we talked about together? Be very intentional to track this stuff so that you don't forget it, because you probably will. And then so in month 2, I'm like, okay, are you ready to dive into nutrition? Like, are you ready to do that? Yes. So let's set up with 2B. So month 1, BOD, month 2, 2B, month 3, Shakeology. So sure, it took me 3 months with the same person to get my Success Club points, but she's doing great. And I love her. Like, she's awesome. Oh, here's the last thing I did touch on too. As far as like the onboarding for coaches, all of my challengers are potential coaches. I watch to see how they participate in my challenge group. I watch to see how they engage on social media. I have some amazing challengers that are sharing all the time on Insta stories. I have a hashtag that I use for Slay Girl Bootcamp. I recommend you doing that so you can track your challengers and see if they're posting. And I'm jotting down all of the people that are challengers that I think would be great coaches. I always invite my glimpse into coaching into my pod of my challengers. I've probably signed like 10 of them so far in the past few months, but they're great. Like, they're actually jumping into the business and being successful, as opposed to coaches that come in and kind of flounder. But anyway, so that's kind of what I'm doing as far as recruiting right now, is it's all customer to coach conversion. And I kind of feel out how well they do in a challenger setting. And just know this, guys, like, not all challengers will be a good coach, and I would keep them as a customer. I personally don't go the discount coach route. I think it makes more sense volume-wise as a team, and commission-wise as a coach. Once you decide to put them as a discount coach, now you don't get any commission anymore. You're only getting TV. And if you're not really cycling very much, it's just wasted volume. So I don't know if you I don't know how Jillian does with discount coaches or not. I don't personally sign them, and I don't tell my coaches to sign them. I'd rather them just stay a challenger until they're ready to work the business.
Yeah, so what we've been doing, Jen, is trying to kind of sign coaches around test group times, like as programs launch, so that we can like do the same thing you're doing, like really get them started and using something.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's kind of been our focus. But like, I sat here and did the math really quick. So you basically got this girl a 2B Mindset BOD all access pack over 3 months, right? But you didn't throw everything at her at once, which made her much more successful. You made a lot more money. Like I think the commission on that pack is $70, and the TV's like something pathetic, like 65.
Is it 65?
It's something really sad and pathetic. but your TV for all of that was over $200 and you made over $100, right? So guys, that's like 3 times the volume, 50% more commission, 50+% more commission. And you're probably going to end up getting someone better results because you're not just like doing word vomit in the form of challenge pack, but it's a little different than words because it's just like stuff, right? I'm not saying I don't ever sell challenge packs anymore, but the reality is a lot of what I sell is like completion packs, like for people that like are already started with something and then like say Transform 20 or something comes out and they want to add it, they'll oftentimes cancel their Shakeology and get a completion pack. And I'm going to do that for my customers. A little less money for me. I get that, but like it's that trust thing for me. So but I used to like freak out, like Jen said. Like I had someone the other day that was like, I just want the 2B Mindset or Moo's Ultimate Portion Fix like nutrition plan. I would have like freaked out and been like, no, you don't, like you want Shakeology. But I was like, okay, and I was psyched about that because that's a lot of money. And guess what? She's probably going to watch all those videos and come back and want Shakeology. Like Jen said, like, our social media doesn't show everything we want them to show. So they may not be seeing us use the Performance Line or Shakeology or the Beach Bars or the Boost. But I'll tell you something, if they're doing their workouts, that stuff is getting ingrained in them every single day and they're hearing it, and they're hearing it because the workout videos they're doing, and it's not a choice what the workout video shows them. Does that make sense?
Totally. No, it does. I will say too, about putting the packs together for them, something I started doing, and this is what I got from going into those local studios, is I do screenshots in Share Cart now, where I give them like different package options based on what they're telling me their goals are, or like maybe where their price points is at, or they tell me what they think they want, and then I break it down for them. So ultimately, if they want all these things and they tell me their budget's $200, like I'm gonna try, I'll get them into a challenge pack because it makes the most sense for them, but I will show them what it looks like. So it's never like I'm trying to upsell them. I think people are just so skeptical of us sometimes. Like, oh, you're trying to sell me this big pack. I'm like, I do screenshots. So I don't send them the Share Cart link. I take a screenshot of what the cart looks like with the price. And then I'm like, option 1, option 2, option 3. Because in Instagram, you can like write on the picture you're sending. And I'm like, these are your 3 packages I put together for you. Which one do you want to go with? And then let them pick. And I feel like that makes them feel as if you've really created a custom cart for them, based on what they told you that they wanted. And that seems to help build the trust a lot too. I will say the discount code, where if, around the test groups, that makes a lot of sense to me. And I think as long as you're signing the coach because of the fitness, it's a good idea. But what I think I've seen in the past so many times with discount coaches is like the skeleton ranks, where you're like a diamond, but you're a diamond because you have 8 discount coaches and you're not making any money. But that coach could have actually made a good amount of money if they kept all 8 of those coaches as customers and they were getting like the residuals each month on whatever they ordered. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I want you guys to make money. I want you to get a check. Like I'd rather you chase the check than chase the rank, because this is a business and Diamond's not paying you like a commission check is. Does that make sense? I don't want to sound harsh when I'm saying that. And if you do want rank, there's nothing wrong with it. And Jillian, I like teaming up with her because I did chase rank. It's what I wanted at the time. But I was in a place where I didn't feel like the money was very important to me. It was like a self-fulfilling thing. I wanted to have a goal and accomplish it. And I realize now that that's just not the goal for most people. And we need to be training. You guys need to be hearing that there's multiple ways to do it. If you want to go after money, please do not chase rank. That's not where the money's coming. It's not. But yeah, I think I'm done.
Does anyone else have questions besides me as I'm word vomiting? As I told you.
I'll have questions later. I'm like processing.
I do.
Sure.
So this is like not necessarily related to what you were saying, but you mentioned people giving you their price points. I often ask people what their price point is, and they like have no idea. How do you get people to actually tell you, I could spend $200?
So I usually throw out like the challenge pack price. I'm usually like, our base packages start at $160. Does that number feel good for you? Is it too much? Because we can break up that package to get you to where you want to be. But that's where the packages start. And usually when you tell someone $160, some of them are like, oh my God, that's such a great deal. And then others are like, oh no, that's like way too much. Like I don't have that kind of money. And the people that have a really small budget, I can almost always get them on Energize, which to me is like a good stepping stone, because I let anyone into my challenge group that buys anything. And I feel like if you have a pretty fun, active challenge group, a lot of FOMO's created, you know? So if they come in there with Energize and they see people working out to bod, they find the money in month 2 to get bod. And then as they stay in the group, they want other things. So that's what I do as far as the pricing though. I start with the challenge pack pricing.
Okay, that was a good question.
I have the same problem, Sarah. Like I'll be like, okay, what's your budget? And they're like, I don't know. Tell me what things cost. So
yeah.
I like that advice from Jenn.
Yeah, thank you. That's a great way to frame it. Like, how does that feel for you?
Right.
Yeah.
Some people are like, that's good. I'm like, okay. Let's go. Most people, I feel like most people, the sweet spot is $100. If I had to like really pick a number that most people seem to be okay with.
So I have a question. If somebody's interested in coaching, will you sign them up as a coach right away?
Not if they have never used the products before. Oh. Girl, you know how much time I've wasted in the past with people. I have wasted so much time with people who come in and are like, I want to be a girl boss. And then they disappear in month 2 because they don't want to sell Shakeology or sell anything. So I feel like unless they come in and I know, and they know, and I know that they're in this because they either want to help people or because they like what we offer, I just don't want to waste my time or their time, you know?
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. I just did a sneak peek last night. So I'm talking to a lot of people about coaching. Mm-hmm. And it was actually really fun and really good for my heart. And the girls that I did it with, some of them are on here. We had a blast, just us. I don't know if they got anybody from it, but it was so fun to just do it, the 5 of us, and share and just speak from the heart and share about the opportunity and why I love it, you know, and why I've stayed in it. And for me, I've stayed in it with the community. Obviously, the income is huge, and now I'm starting. I'm kind of where you're at, where I'm like, I got to make some money. Like I'm the breadwinner in my family, to be honest. So like, It's getting a little bit scary sometimes about that, but
right. It's true. It's such a different company than when we came in. It looks different. And I think the best thing we could do is we can reinvent what this looks like for us. And I just think Beachbody can tell us all day long, like, to keep doing this, keep pushing for elite, keep pushing for 15-star. I do want elite, but at this point, I'm not willing to sacrifice like the success of my coaches for me to hit a goal. And years ago, I was able to chase elite and coaches were still successful, and that was okay, but that's just not where we're at right now. And I think that, you know, we have great products and I don't think we're marketing them properly because we are trying to get on the Success Club cruise, or we're trying to have our name on some recognition board, which to that point, I know that not everyone is in a financial situation to offer big prizes, but you can kind of meet this at the level of where you're at. But I'm doing tanks. Last year I did shaker cups. Those were for Success Club. I switched it recently, like last month or the month before, to include volume. And Jillian helped me figure out what like the equivalency was to Success Club 10 in volume. I think it was maybe it was like 750 to 1,000. 750. There were so many people that hit it that I had to bump it up to 1,000. But that gives coaches an opportunity to like shoot for volume. So if they're selling a ton of product, they can still get the incentive. So what I'm trying to do is replicate Beachbody's programs, but including volume. And then you know how we have like the Success Club trip that Beachbody has, and so I'm trying to do like a leaders retreat where it's volume based. Like there's like all these other criteria, so that coaches don't have to feel like, well, I have to pick either or. I either shoot for Beachbody's goals in order to get X Y Z, but then I'm not getting that. Do you know what I mean? So maybe.
I was going to say, Jen, you have figured out how to get both. So girls, like if you want to go on the Success Club trip, if you use Jen's system and she's hitting Success Club 40, you can get both. Like, I think that's what's so amazing about what she's doing. And I've been doing it too. I've not been selling a lot of challenge packs. It's all been like I've sold a ton of 3 packs of beach bars lately.
That's awesome.
So random.
Awesome.
When people say they want beach bars, I send over the share card for the 3-pack. Mm-hmm. And they don't say anything. Like, they don't even know there's a 1 or 2.
That's smart. I will tell you, I have not really been doing that, and I'm going to start doing that now.
Yeah, because that's 2 points. My point is, like, for those of you that I like the trips, they're big for me, right? So, like, I want to hit Success Club, but I'm not hitting Success Club with challenge packs. So when you see my name up there, know that it's not challenge packs. And when you see Jen's points at freaking 40, she's not a challenge packs either. And she still can go on all these trips and have them all paid for and make money.
Yes, totally.
I do a combo. I'm going to be the odd man out. I do a combo. I am still really big on value, and I know that it's TV wise. I totally understand. I'm transitioning. I do a lot of completion packs. I do a ton of completion with nutrition, but I put Shakeology in with like Ultimate Portion Fix or 2B, because to me, that for them, it's a better deal if they can afford it all. Then I love, if they can't, like Jillian said, they don't want the shaker where they're in now, fine. Sell them the 2B or the Ultimate Portion Fix, whichever works with their nutrition goals. And their lifestyle.
I think that's good that you do that. Totally.
Okay.
No, totally.
Well, I let people know, because I know that some of my coaches still enjoy the challenge pack and they like that, and they get the deal. It's a deal. It's how they signed up. No, if they have all the money for that right now.
Right.
But I love how you guys are saying that too. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that it can be done all different ways.
Oh, for sure. I think for me, and just for my newer coaches maybe coming in, and I don't know the level of like coaches we have on right now, mine can't sell. Like they're always hearing the money objections. Money objections are like the biggest thing. And they were getting so defeated because $160 was just not possible for their potentials. So this kind of came up more so for those who were like, 160 is not happening. You know what I mean? But I feel you on like, if someone's like, if someone says to me, oh yeah, I have no problem, $200 budget, I want them to get the best value. But I will say more often than not, even for the people I talk to, they just don't have.
No, and I love that you hit on that too, about how people lose out on people because they just stop at challenge pack.
Right.
And that breaks my heart.
Me too. It makes me sad.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't have money.
But that's what we were taught. Literally,
right.
Like that's what we were taught. Like, you were a failure if you sold a DVD set.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we were taught, and it's just not the case. So, I'm not going to say I never sell challenge packs, because I do sometimes, but.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can you explain more how you are doing the local market? Like how you talked about you go places and you're tagging. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on how you're building locally?
Yes. So I don't know if you've ever seen my Instagram training, but it's basically like the same process that I do for that, except I replace niche markets or like your interest markets with local market. So you're using social media in the same way as far as searching hashtags for your community, searching like local businesses. So like there's a lot of local businesses here that have really big Instagram followings, and I will go to their followings and I will follow people that are following them. So you're using the same general idea of what you've learned from social media training, but you're just taking it and you're using it in a local market, as opposed to like trying to find somebody that's in the UK or trying to find another mom of boys. Like you're trying to search hashtags for interests. You're using hashtags to find local people. And then I'm in quite a few like local moms groups, and I never talk about Beachbody in there, but the only thing, and this is my personal profile, the only thing public on my personal profile is my fitness album. So if I'm engaging in all of these like local market groups about whatever, they click my profile, and then what's the first thing that they see? They see my fitness album. And if you're doing a good job with your business, it's engaging for people to like browse through that album. So I've had customers I have come across that way. As far as like local events and whatnot, that's more so to like provide value for your local market. So you know how with general Instagram training, if I'm like, well, is your niche market nature? Well, then you better be posting about nature. You can't target people that are nature freaks if you're not posting about it, because then they come to your page and they're really confused. Same with local. If you're targeting local people, but then nothing you post about has any local value, why would they follow you, right? So I try to go to restaurants and share my stories, like local places and local things. So as I'm targeting this local market, they come back to my page and they're like, oh my gosh, like, yes, like she's always trying out these new places and I get it. It makes sense. Does that help?
Oh, a lot. That's great. Thanks so much. Yes.
Is that mainly in your stories, or do you do that in your posts too, Jen?
So for me personally, and this, I say that as a disclaimer because I realize this is not the case for everyone. I probably have like 10,000 views on a story. So I get a lot of engagement when someone's watching my stories. I feel like I don't get as much engagement on my posts. But I know most of my coaches average like 100 views on a story, and so it might not be as beneficial. I think you really just need to, and then this is something else I was talking about on the last video, was really focusing on where you get the most engagement and cross-posting whatever you're posting onto multiple platforms. So like Insta stories, you can use a poll. And polls are awesome. I've used them all the time. That's how I actually do my calls to action. But if you don't have a lot of people watching your stories, how can you translate that poll to be on your Instagram feed? Because maybe if you get a lot of more traction there, or if it's your Facebook, how can you take that poll and bring it into, like your Facebook post? And like the emojis, the hearts, whatever, asking these questions, but asking people to respond, in the comments. So I just think it's important no matter whatever we're doing. Yes, I feel like I share a lot more on my stories, but use the platform where you're getting the most visibility, interaction. Don't use the platform maybe because it's the safest or the easiest, or that's what I'm telling you I use. Use the one that's going to bring you the most feedback. But I've been in Costa Rica for the past week, so I've been attracting a lot of Costa Ricans, which is not very helpful. But it's like, you should live in our country. I'm like, I would love to live in your country, but they don't deliver my Shakeology there. Like, I can't. It's not gonna happen. But I try to, like, when I go to new restaurants, I'll tag like the name of the restaurant or the venue or whatever, geotag.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, are people's minds blown yet? I don't think I could have given any more. I don't know if we've ever had a call, Whitney.
Donna just had my brain hurt looks. It was rad.
Content. Jen, I know you're like literally just back from vacation. So I really, really, really appreciate this, like more than you know. So thank you so much. I'm happy to return the favor always and do some math for people.
You just did. I needed that. I was like, can you do a money talk, please? Because when I tried talking about money, it just like, oh, that work.
Yeah. So, but seriously, like, this is a great way to look at the business and help. The real root of this is that we can help more people by doing things this way and make more money.
Yes.
Hello. Like, that seems like a no-brainer, if you ask me. So, just go back to the basics. The other thing that I've been doing, I think, I don't know if she's still on, Sarah Stork got off. Jen, have you noticed that when you do the share a cart for the BOD, it gives you Energize 25% off?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so Sarah Stork has been saying that when she does the BOD subscription, she throws in Energize, and when she sends a share cart, she doesn't tell them, like, she doesn't talk about it with them beforehand. When she sends a share cart link, she's like, hey, I just noticed that when I set up this cart up for you, it gave you 25% off of Energize. So I threw it in there. If you're interested, this is what it does, blah, blah, blah. But if you want to remove it, feel free, because probably if someone's signing up for BOD, they're doing workouts. They're not totally nutrition focused to start. And that way, like if they do want to do a stack the next month or something, they've already
That is so
tried it.
smart. I love
So
that.
smart, right? It was Sarah's idea. She's not on here, but I'm giving her credit anyway. So if she watches the recording, I'm not stealing it, guys. Well, I did steal it, but it wasn't my idea.
I think it's awesome. She went to bed, but we'll tell her, and she's gonna watch the rest.
Yeah, so that's like a good way too to like, because that's a lot of volume. Like those, honestly, the volume on a freaking Energized tub is the same as like a challenge pack.
Yeah. Isn't so Beachbody On Demand, because I know you said you were going to run through like the volume, but Beachbody On Demand annual, isn't that the same TV as a challenge pack?
Yeah, it's 40, and I think a challenge pack is 45.
I mean, it just blows my mind that people are
Also,
like,
the commission is 40, and the challenge pack commission on a $160 pack is 50, right? So it's yeah.
that a couple months ago like blew my mind. I was just like, wow, we're losing, we're shooting at yourself. And I have a lot of customers that come to me, and I don't know if you guys have had this experience where they're like, well, I was talking to another coach, but she said that because I'm not buying a challenge pack, I'm not allowed in her challenge group. And I was just like, is that like a real thing?
That's been a real thing for a long time, Jen. I have never taken that stance, but so many people have. And a lot of really amazing coaches on the roundtable will say that they started because they bought something on Amazon or eBay, and their coach let them in and told them they would help them. So I don't ever recommend that, but it's people's personal choice, right?
Yeah, that was me. Like I bought Turbo Fire on eBay and Steph like let me in. I just paid the $40 to sign up, and she was like, that's cool. Like you just never know. I don't know.
How about T25 on a payment plan? Thanks, Kate. Carissa, that was such a good point. It's totally a waste of helping somebody.
Yes.
We're in.
And what's the sweat off our back to put someone in a challenge group? Seriously, like that's what I don't understand is it's not a heavy lift. I'm sorry, I'm sure you guys aren't calling these people every day, right? Like put them in the group, let them see the content, let them see how great the community is. And what's the harm? Like,
Oh, my girls know in our big group, we got all the people with all the things. So, and then they end up seeing that it's FOMO. They're like, oh, wait, what's that? Energize? And because we all share our Energize and our cover and all the things, bars.
That's why I'm like so for me, and I tell mine, like one purchase is all you need to get in there. Like one thing, they have to be like your customer. And the only reason I feel like you do that is because the challenge group is like that incentive to purchase, So if you let them in and they didn't buy anything, then I feel like you what's that saying about like why would you buy the cow if you get the milk for free kind of thing? I don't know. I feel like get them in with something. So you're like, you're my customer. You are my customer. I don't care if it's a big purchase or a small purchase. You're my customer, and that means a lot to me, and I want to put you in my group. But for those that are like, I don't want to get anything, then I'm just like,
what's the point though? Like in my challenge group, we're doing Beachbody things. So if they don't have any product or any program,
like it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
You want to have something like to participate. So I haven't really had an issue with that though. I mean, I could see if you were saying it had to be a challenge pack or it had to be Shakeology or had to be, but I mean, Energize or a 3-day refresh. Heck, even if you buy like a Shakeology sampler, I'll put you in there. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you. $20 minimum for the group. Rachel, that was one of our calls. So there was a girl that said she has like a free group for people that just want free stuff, but it's a $20 minimum, which is basically anything. I don't think we have anything less than $20 to get in her challenge group. Same thing. And I did that this month, and I did like a separate group on the app. And that's how I had all these people that already had bought and already had a nutrition plan, and all they just got bars or Shakeology or Energy. They got something to get in there, and that really helped me with income and volume. So it's a great idea. Yeah.
I do.
I just sent them all the 3-pack of bars, and no one No one said, "Oh, is there a pack of 2 or 1?" So I.
I'm jotting that down in my head, and the Energize add-on. Like those are both in my head now.
Yeah. Don't tell them they can get a whole tub for $40 when you're selling them 1 tube for $5.
Dude, that's
Wait, so that was $5, and I could get the whole thing for $40? Yeah.
40 servings for $40 or 1 serving for $5.
Right. Oh God.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Jen. This was amazing. Guys, I'll post a recording. It is going to be unlisted. I do ask that you keep this in our team page just because we're trying to get ahead of the curve, as Jen always tries to do for us. So let's try to keep this a little quieter. And I'd love to brainstorm some more internally about in-person stuff because it terrifies me. So I need some help.
I gotta get on that.
Yeah.
Or I do a little bit. I joined Psycho Bar. I go to Wine Country, but it's hard for me to like intertwine the two, which it usually isn't.
I think what it is you do such a good job of showing everything on social media. So once you've connected, because of the local stuff, they just watch you. Like they just watch what you're doing. Like for me, I never bring up Beachbody. I like my Parker's game. I'll bring the hydrate, and then they're like, "What's that?" And I tell them, or the beach bars, and you share it. It just like it's very like natural conversation. I know Danielle Natoni, when we did the Beyond Social Media training, she was like, "I don't care to be the crazy Beachbody lady. That's not the route I went. Although some of my coaches, that's what they want to do with this, but I'm just more low key about it, and it still works." So I think everyone will kind of figure out. Oh, the one last thing, I'm just going to say this before we jump off, collabs, in-person collabs. So when I started really getting into coaching, I would reach out to really big bloggers or people with really big social media accounts and try to get shares, like my transformation picture shared, or I'd be like, "Hey, if I send you Shakeology, will you post about it and tag me?" And I did a lot of like virtual collabs. What I've been talking to my team about and talking about in general are like in-person collabs. Do you have like a hairstylist that you go to where you can pitch to her, "Hey, if I give you $25 for the month, can you put a stack of beach bars on your, counter, your station with my business cards? And when people are hungry getting their hair done, you can give them a beach bar and my card." Like little in-person collabs where, local gym. Like I went into, I think it was the Pure Barre studio, and they had that keto coffee stuff, like a stand of it on the countertop. And I don't know if the owner is a MLM or somebody came in there and was like, "Hey, if I pay you $50, can I have a stack of my stuff on your counter and I'll give you commission?" Think about it, brainstorm how that might work for you guys, but keep in your head like these possible in-person collab ideas, not just virtual ones. So that was my last thing. And now it's 10 o'clock. We're done.
Okay, we're done. Cutting everyone off. All right. Have a great night, guys. I'll get this recording up in a bit.
Thank you, Jen.
Bye. Bye.